Hello everyone. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss how to design a power screw application. What are the types of stresses getting developed inside the power screw? While discussing that, we have to consider stresses developed inside the body of the screw separately and stresses developed inside the threads of the screw separately. All this analysis will be discussed in this video tutorial, and so how to proceed while designing a screw or a particular power screw application will be covered in this video tutorial. Now this video tutorial or today's discussion again belongs to same CO number 4, that is to design power screw applications like screw jack and C clamp. Now up till now we have already seen few realities regarding power screws. So let us recall those. The total torque as given by the operator for operating the power screw application is equal to Tt plus Tc, wherein Tt is the torque required to overcome the thread friction and Tc is the torque required to overcome the collar friction. Total torque given by the operator while operating the power screw application will be calculated as against the operating force P multiplied by length of the bar. Length of the bar or radius of the flywheel if the flywheel is used for applying the torque. Radius of the flywheel or diameter of the flywheel. So this is the total torque given by the operator, which will have two components, Tt and Tc. Tt is the torque required to raise the load, or Tt is the torque required to overcome the thread friction, whereas Tc is the torque required to overcome the collar friction. Now Tt, the torque required to overcome the thread friction or raise the load, is given by Wdm upon 2 tan of phi plus minus lambda. While raising the load, phi plus lambda, while lowering the load, phi minus lambda. Dm is the mean diameter given by d minus half the pitch. Phi is the friction angle tan inverse of mu. As we know, for case of Acme threads, that means trapezoidal threads, we have to take into account phi as equal to tan inverse of mu dash, where mu dash is equal to mu upon cos of theta. For Acme threads, theta is equal to 14.5. For isometric trapezoidal threads, theta will be equal to 15 degrees. Lambda is the lead angle and it is given by tan inverse of L upon pi dm. L is the lead, which is equal to number of starts multiplied by the pitch. Dm is the mean diameter of the screw. Now torque required to overcome the collar friction will be given by mu c W R of F or R of M. Mu c is the coefficient of friction at the collar, W is the load, Rf is the friction radius, or Rm the mean radius. One of these two radii is to be considered based on the which theory is required to be preferred. If you if it is required to use uniform pressure theory, then we have to use Tc as equal to mu c W Rf. Here we have, for the case of uniform pressure theory, we have to take into account the friction radius Rf. If it is required to use the uniform wear theory, then we have to take into account Rm. So in that case, Tc will be calculated as mu c W Rm. Rm is equal to Ro plus Ri divided by 2, whereas friction radius Rf is given by 2/3 of Ro cube minus Ri cube divided by Ro square minus Ri square. Here Rm represents mean radius. Now also we have discussed efficiency of the nut screw arrangement is given by tan of lambda divided by tan of phi plus lambda, and overall efficiency of the application is given by WL upon 2 pi T. Entire this discussion already we have gone through. Now let us see what are the stresses getting developed inside the power screw, how to take into account those stresses while designing the power screw application, what are the different type of the stresses getting developed. Stresses are getting developed inside the body of the screw as well as threads of the screw. So, and we have to deal with them differently. So how to deal with those stresses developed inside the power screw applications, and how to take it into account, take the stresses into account while designing the power screw application, while finding out dimensions of the power screw application, that we are going to discuss during this video tutorial. Now stresses, when we call stresses in power screw, we mean to say stresses in the body of the screw, shank of the screw, as well as stresses in the threads of the screw. The power screw or the screw is comprising body or shank, and there will be thread portion. So the stresses will be getting developed inside the body of the screw, as well as stresses will be getting developed inside the threads of the screw, and we have to deal with them differently. So here, as far as the body or shank of the screw is considered, if in the given data for a particular numerical in the problem statement, if the application is not specified, application whether it is a screw jack, whether it is a C clamp, whether it is a uh, pipe vise or sharp straightener, likewise if the application is not specified, and just in the problem statement they are asking us to find out the stresses in the power screw, then we have to use these relations, these formulae for calculating the stress in the body of the screw. So here, as the screw is loaded with load, that load will cause compressive stress inside the power screw, and that's compressive stress developed will be given by W, the load, divided by pi by 4 DC square. It is the DC is the core diameter. So core area we have to take into account, and core cross sectional area, the applied load divided by core cross sectional area. This relation, this equation, this formula will give you idea regarding compressive stress developed inside the body of the screw. Body of the screw is also called as shank of the screw. So inside the shank or body of the screw, there will be compressive stress developed sigma C, which will be given by W, the load, divided by pi by 4 DC square, where DC is the core diameter. DC, the core diameter, will be given by nominal diameter minus the pitch. Let me recall you that mean diameter dm is given by d minus half the pitch, whereas dc, the core diameter, is given by d minus the pitch. So dc is equal to d minus p, dm is equal to d minus p by 2, half the pitch. Okay, so you have to take into account dc in the formula while calculating compressive stress developed inside the body of the screw. Then torque, as the screw is rotated, it is experiencing some torque, and whenever there is a torque, there will be torsion, and torsional shear stress will get developed inside the body of the screw. This induced torsional shear stress will be given by 16T upon pi dc cube. 16T upon pi dc cube. Please note that here also we have to take into account dc, the core diameter of the screw. Core diameter of the screw we have to take into account while calculating both the compressive stress developed as well as torsional shear stress developed. Now the body of the screw, we can realize from these two equations or these two type of the stresses that the body of the screw is subjected to two different type of the stresses: compressive stress, which will be of direct nature, denoted by sigma, whereas torsional shear stress, which will be of shearing nature, denoted by tau. So whenever there are two different type of the stresses developed inside the body of the machine part, that is called as the complex loading, case of complex loading. So here body of the screw is case of complex loading, and while designing it, we have to employ a suitable theory of failure for such machine parts subjected to complex loading. Complex loading means Whenever the machine part is subjected to two different type of the stresses, it is called as case of complex loading. So the body of the screw is subjected to direct compressive stress and torsional shear stress, two different type of the stresses. Therefore, this is a case of complex loading, and while designing or while analyzing, we have to employ a suitable theory of failure for analysis of this body of the screw. Now, generally the screw is made up of ductile material, and for ductile material, the most suitable theory is the maximum shear stress theory of failure, according to which maximum shear stress developed will be given by sigma upon 2 square plus tau square. So here, as the shank or body of the screw is subjected to direct compressive stress and torsional shear stress, their resultant or equivalent maximum shear stress according to maximum shear stress theory will be given by tau max is equal to sigma c upon 2 square plus tau square. This is the maximum shear stress. We have to take it into account while designing the body of the screw or while checking safety of the shank of or body of the screw. Now here, besides the body of the screw, screw is comprising its body as well as the threads, and stresses develop inside the body. Right now we have taken into account. Now we have to take into account the stresses getting developed inside the threads of the screw. So there we have to take into account direct shear stress develop inside the threads of the screw, as well as we have to take it into account the bearing pressure at the interface of threads of screw and the nut. So direct shear stress developed inside the threads of the screw tau s will be given by the load divided by shear area. Now this shear area is pi dc tz. What are these quantities? We are going to discuss in a short while. Whereas direct shear stress developed inside the nut tau n is given by W upon pi dTz. Just there is a difference of D in case of direct shear stress inside the threads of screw and the nut. For the screw, we have to take it into account DC in the denominator, whereas for the nut, we have to take it into account the nominal diameter D in the denominator. This is the only difference, otherwise the remaining formula is one and the same. Now, now the threads of the screw as well as the nut, they are having intimate contact, and whenever there is localized compressive stress over the interface of two mating parts, that stress is called as a crushing stress. And if there is a relative motion between the mating parts, then the crushing stress developed is referred as the bearing pressure. Now, in case of threads of the nut and the screw, there is intimate contact over the interface of screw over the interface of threads of screw and the nut, and also there is a relative motion between the mating parts. So whenever there is a relative motion between mating parts and localized compressive stress is getting developed over the interface of two mating parts, then that stress is referred as bearing pressure. Now the bearing pressure in the case of screw and nut arrangement, which is denoted by PB, it is given by PB is equal to W the load divided by pi by 4 T square minus D square minus DC square times Z, where D is the nominal diameter and DC is the core diameter. Now let us see what are the different terms used in these formulae. W is the load, DC is the core diameter, D is the nominal diameter, this is the core diameter. Core diameter is given by D minus the pitch. Then this T is representing thickness of the screw thread. T is the thickness of the thread, which will be equal to half the pitch. Thickness of the thread will be equal to half the pitch. So this T, which is used in the denominator, for direct shear stress of the screw and direct shear stress of the nut. It is representing thickness of the thread and it is given by half the pitch. Now there is a term, another term Z in all the three formulae. This Z is called as number of threads in contact. Number of threads in contact within the range of the nut, height of the nut. Inside the nut, how many number of threads are in contact? How many number of threads of nut and the screw are in contact? That is represented by Z. This Z can be a fractional figure. It can be a rational number, no problem. No need to, Z should be a integer. It can be a fractional value also. Z represents number of threads in contact and height of the nut is given by number of threads in contact multiplied by the pitch. So if for a particular arrangement height of the nut is known to us and pitch is known to us, then dividing height by the pitch one can calculate number of threads in contact required or present inside the nut and the screw arrangement, nut and screw interface. How many number of threads are in contact, that will be calculated as height of the nut divided by the pitch. Generally height of the nut is known to us, pitch is always known to us. So knowing the height of the nut and the pitch, one can calculate Z, the number of threads in contact. So likewise we have to find out stresses develop inside the body of the screw and the stresses develop inside the threads of the screw. Now this discussion is meant for uh, general general application where no particular application is specified, like screw jack or C clamp or pipe vise or shaft straightener and etc. things. If not specified a particular application, then in that case for calculating stresses inside the body of the screw, we have to find out compressive stress develop, torsional shear stress, and combining the two using the maximum shear stress theory, we have to find out maximum shear stress develop inside the body of the screw, which will be taken into account further for analyzing or designing the screw. Now suppose a particular application is specified in the given data for a problem in for for a problem statement, then how to deal with these stresses inside the body of the screw, that we have to discuss now. Particular application is whether specified or not, these three stresses remains one and the same. But if a particular application is specified, then we have to take it into account the arrangement of the power screw application, and accordingly we have to find out stresses developed inside the body of the screw differently based on the arrangement of the screw, nut and the Tommy bar or the operating bar. Whereas these three stresses, direct shear stress inside the threads, direct shear stress inside the nut and bearing pressure remains one and the same. Now suppose a power screw application is specified like bench vise, pipe vise, shaft straightener, C clamp. For all such applications except for the screw jack, all other applications will have similar analysis as specified here. Will have similar analysis as specified here. Now let us consider a bench vise like arrangement, vise arrangement, wherein this arrangement is used for applying force on the workpiece, clamping force on the workpiece. Workpiece will experience clamping force and it will exert reactive force in equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So the jaws of this bench vise will experience force equal in magnitude to clamping force and opposite in direction to the clamping force. So here clamping force represents the load W. So W amount of load or W amount of force is experienced by this jaw as well as moving as well as fixed jaw. Moving and fixed jaw experiences the force or load W as a reaction given by the workpiece. Workpiece will be applied with clamping force W. Clamping force W. So it will exert reactive force equal in magnitude opposite in direction on the jaws, and therefore these jaws will experience same amount of W amount of force and in opposite direction to the direction of the force applied on the workpiece. Workpiece, we are applying the clamping force on the workpiece, and workpiece will exert reactive force in this direction. So here now this screw and this jaw arrangement, this jaw is experiencing force equal to W or load equal to W. Then for rotating this screw, a handle is provided or a bar, Tommy bar will be provided, wherein the force will be applied on the bar while rotating the screw. For rotating the screw, operator will apply force equal to P and length of the bar is LB. So P into LB will be the torque as given by the operator. So operator will apply force on this handle and its value will be equal to P. The operator force P multiplied by length of the bar or length of the handle will represent the total torque as given by the operator. Now we have, while analyzing, we have to analyze the two different sections of this screw differently. Section XX is subjected to different kind of stresses, whereas section YY will be subjected to different kind of stresses. So we have to we have to analyze these two sections differently. We have to take it into account the stresses developed inside the section XX and inside the section YY differently. How to deal with these stresses, that now we are going to discuss. First of all, let us consider section XX. Now here one can note that the nut is here and collar will be at the jaw. Collar will be at the jaw. So here nut is in between the point of application of the torque. Torque is provided here and nut is here and here is the collar. The operator will provide torque equal to the operator force P multiplied by length of the bar or length of the handle. So total torque as given by the operator will be at this point T. That T will be having two components, TC and TT. TT is the torque required to overcome the thread friction. TT is the torque required to overcome the thread friction, and TC is the torque required to overcome the collar friction. Now as the torque T given by the operator, this T, the total torque will travel from this point up to nut, and hence section YY will be subjected to entire section YY will be this much portion of the screw will be subjected to torque equal to T, the total torque, which is comprising TT plus TC. Total torque T will be applied, or the section YY will be subjected to total torque T. Now out of this total torque T, TT amount of torque will be utilized here at the nut portion to overcome the nut friction, to overcome the thread friction. To overcome the thread friction, TT amount of torque will be utilized. Out of total T amount of torque, TT amount of torque will be utilized to overcome the thread friction. So remaining TC amount of torque will be transferred to the remaining XX section of the screw, and TC amount, this XX section will be subjected to only torque equal to TC, which will be utilized here for overcoming the collar friction. So So if we consider these two different portions of the screw separately, this right hand side portion of the screw or section YY is subjected to total torque T. Out of total torque T, TT amount of torque will be utilized here inside the nut. So remaining TC will be transferred further. This section excess or this portion of the screw is subjected to only torque TC, which will be utilized here to overcome the collar friction. So section excess is subjected to only TC, whereas section YY will be subjected to total torque T. So while calculating torsional shear for section XX, we have to take it into account. We have to take into account TC amount of torque. We have to take it into account TC amount of torque. So torsional shear stress tau for section XX is equal to 16 TC upon pi dc cube. 16 TC upon pi dc cube. Whereas for section YY, this much portion or section YY is subjected to total torque as given by the operator. Therefore, torsional shear stress for section YY is given by 16 T upon pi dc cube. For section XX, 16 Tc upon pi dc cube, and for section YY, 16 T upon pi dc cube. Now, this portion XX is also subjected to compression due to this compressive force. This force, reactive force as given by the workpiece as experienced by the moving jaw as well as fixed jaw. This moving jaw is experiencing force which will cause compression of this portion XX or section XX. This much portion of the screw will be subjected to compressive stress. This compressive stress is given by sigma c is equal to W upon pi by 4 Tc square. Pi by 4 Dc square is the cross section area of the core or at the core of the screw. Therefore, applied load W, clamping force W divided by pi by 4 Dc square, that represents compressive stress. So in section XX, there will be compressive stress, there will be torsional shear due to this Tc amount of torque to which this much portion is subjected. So there is a direct stress as well as torsional shear stress. So here also we have to employ maximum shear stress theory of failure for calculating maximum shear stress to which this section XX is subjected. Therefore, for section XX, maximum shear stress will be given by sigma c upon 2 square plus tau square, where tau is given by 16 Tc upon pi dc cube. Now for section YY, we have seen that this much portion or section YY is subjected to or experiencing entire torque as given by the operator force P multiplied by length of the bar, total torque as given by the operator, and it is transmitted through this much portion or section YY to the nut and further collar. So therefore this portion YY is subjected to total torque, and therefore torsional shear stress developed inside this section YY is given by 16 T upon pi dc cube. 16 T upon pi dc cube. Now as the force is applied by the operator over this handle, over this bar, this applied force P multiplied by perpendicular distance from the nut, this much length, multiplied by this operator force P. P multiplied by P is say going inside the plane of the plane of the board, and this perpendicular force and this distance between this distance between the nut and the point of application of the force, that will cause a couple or bending moment MB, and that induced bending moment will cause bending of this much portion which is beyond the nut on right hand side. This much portion will be subjected to bending stress. Okay. So bending stress, as this much portion section YY is subjected to bending stress, bending moment MB, it will be subjected to bending stress, which will be given by 32 times MB upon pi dc cube, where MB is the bending moment. Bending moment is given by the applied load by the operator or operator force P multiplied by this much length. This much length is called as unsupported length of the screw and denoted by LUS. This is called as, this much length is called as unsupported length of the screw, or maximum travel of the screw, or maximum, it represents maximum size of the workpiece, maximum size of the workpiece. So any of these three form in the given data in for the problem statement, they will specify the unsupported length of the screw LUS, which is to be taken into account while calculating MB, the bending moment to which this portion or this section YY is subjected. So, section YY is subjected to bending moment MB, which is equal to P into LUS. LUS is unsupported length of the screw, and therefore bending stress is getting developed inside this section YY, which is given by 32 times MB upon pi dc cube. Now here also for section YY also there is a direct stress as well as torsional shear stress. So two different type of the stresses is getting developed inside the section YY. Therefore, we have to employ a suitable theory of failure. For screws are generally made up of ductile material, and for ductile material, maximum shear stress theory is the most suitable theory. Therefore, employing maximum shear stress theory for calculating resultant or equivalent stress of these two different type of the stresses, bending stress and torsional shear. So maximum shear stress developed inside this portion of the screw or inside section YY will be given by sigma B upon 2 square plus tau square. Sigma B with the bending stress, sigma B upon 2 square plus tau square. This is the maximum shear stress developed inside section YY. Previously, we had calculated maximum shear stress developed inside the section XX. There, sigma C was used in for section XX, sigma C, and for section XS, while calculating tau, we have to use TC. Whereas for section YY, instead of sigma C, sigma B is to be used, and while calculating tau, instead of TC, we have to take it into account the total torque as given by the operator, or the torque required to operate the application. So likewise, we have to deal with the stresses developed inside two different sections of the screw differently. We have to take them into account while analyzing the screw, while analysis or while designing the screw, while analyzing the screw, we have to deal with the sections XX and YY differently as specified here. Now, if the application is screw jack, then we have to deal with the stresses developed inside the screw of the screw jack differently. Here also again we are going to discuss, we are going to take it into account two different sections, section XX and section YY as specified here. Now here it is the nut, it is the head of the screw. Here a cup will be provided which will be subjected to load W. Now, as far as this section XX is considered, it will be subjected to compressive stress due to this applied load W, and this induced compressive stress inside this section XX will be given by sigma C compressive stress is equal to W upon pi by 4 dc square, where dc is the core diameter of the screw. So W upon pi by 4 dc square is the compressive stress to which this section XX or this much portion which is above the nut is subjected to compressive stress. Now the operator will apply force here to rotate the screw, and due to this applied force P, that applied force P multiplied by this unsupported length will cause bending moment for this screw portion which is above the nut. This much portion which is above the nut will be experiencing or will be subjected to bending moment, which will be having value equal to the operator force P multiplied by this much length. This length is representing unsupported length of the screw or maximum travel of the screw or maximum lift of the load, whatever you call it as. This unsupported length of the screw multiplied by the operator force P that will cause the bending moment to which this much portion is subjected. So this much force is subjected, this much portion or section XX will be subjected to bending stress, which will be given by 32 times MB upon pi dc cube. Now, both the compressive stress and bending stress are of same nature. Direct stresses are there, both are representing sigma. Therefore, adding the two, we can calculate total stress, total direct stress to which this section XX is subjected. This section XX is subjected to total stress, which will be comprising the compressive stress as well as bending stress. Sigma T is the total direct stress inside the section XX, and it will be comprising or it will be the summation of compressive stress and the bending stress. Now the operator will apply torque, and due to this torque there will be torsion of the screw and there will be torsional shear stress, which will be given by 16T upon pi dc cube. But here just see that the operator is giving torque equal to T at this point. Operator is providing torque T, which will be equal to the operator force multiplied by length of the bar LB. The operator will provide total torque T, which will be having two components, one to overcome the thread friction, another to overcome the collar friction. Now, if you consider the arrangement here, above this head of the screw, we have provided a collar, and above that collar, we have put a cup here for facilitating the application of the load. We have provided a cup here, and here we have provided a collar to this head of the screw. So there will be collar friction at this portion, and which will be required to be overcome using the amount of torque Tc, which represents torque required to overcome the collar friction. So total torque as given by the operator T, out of which Tc amount of torque will be utilized to overcome the collar friction here. To overcome the collar friction here. So total torque T minus the torque required to overcome the collar friction, which is utilized here to overcome the collar friction. So remaining Tt amount of torque will be transmitted to the screw. Tt amount of torque will be transmitted through the screw. Tt amount of torque is the torque required to overcome the thread friction, which will be utilized in the nut portion. So section XX is subjected to torque equal to Tt. Torque equal to Tt. This much portion of the screw is subjected to torque equal to Tt. So here, while calculating torsional shear stress, we have to take it into account 16 Tt upon pi dc cube. By mistake, I have forgotten to add a suffix T here. Actually, this T should be Tt, T suffix T, where T suffix T represents torque required to overcome the thread friction. So this much portion or section XX is subjected to torsional shear stress, which will be given by 16 Tt upon pi dc cube, and also it is subjected to direct stress, total direct stress sigma T is equal to compressive stress plus bending stress. So here again, the entire portion is subjected to two different kind of stresses, direct stresses as well as shear stresses. So we have to employ a suitable or maximum shear stress theory, according to which Maximum shear stress developed inside section X6 will be given by sigma t upon 2 square plus tau square, where sigma t is equal to sigma c plus sigma b. Sigma c is the compressive stress, sigma b is the bending stress. Summation of the two is sigma t. Sigma t is the summation of compressive and bending stress, and tau is the torsional shear stress, which will be given by 16 tt. Again, I repeat, I have forgotten to add a suffix here. Actually, it will be T suffix T, which is nothing but torque required to overcome the thread friction. So 16 Tt upon pi dc cube. And using value of sigma T and tau in this formula, one can calculate maximum shear stress to which this portion or section X6 is subjected. Now, Tt amount of torque is transmitted through this section X6, which will be utilized here to overcome the thread friction inside the nut over the interface of nut and screw threads. So there will be no torque to which this portion YY is subjected. There is no force to which this section YY is subjected. There is no bending moment to which this section YY is subjected. So section YY is subjected to neither the compressive nor the bending stress, as well as it is also not subjected to torsional shear stress. So section YY is subjected to no stress, and it is completely free of the stress. It is completely in a state of free of the stress. There is no stress inside the section YY, and whatever is the stress developed, maximum shear stress developed inside the section X6 will be calculated using this relation. So while analyzing or while designing a screw jack, we have to take it into account this maximum shear stress to which the section X6 or this portion of the screw is subjected. So this is all regarding different type of stresses, how to use them, what are the different terms inside the formulae for different stresses. Stresses to be dealt with differently for the shank or body of the screw as well as threads of the screw. So in this today's video tutorial, we have seen stresses inside the body of the screw, stresses inside the threads of the screw, compressive stress, bending stress, torsional shear stress. Height of the nut is what? Different sections of the screw are subjected to different type of stresses. Sigma C, sigma B, then torsional shear based on TC calculation, based on TT calculation, or based on total T calculation. So that we have seen in elaboration. So here we complete the discussion regarding stresses inside the power screw. That's all in this today's video tutorial. Thank you.